You're already giggling.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Colleen Saringer, PhD culture leader.
Hi, Christine Passo, transformation
That's right.
coach. It's funny because, again, we are 19 episodes in and still like, oh my gosh, it actually is recording.
I mean, this is such a privilege to be able to do this that we're just so excited to share in this space, and that whether we have 2 listeners or 90, I mean, it just feels good to be talking about what I know people are very interested in.
Yeah, I agree. So
Yeah.
with that, you want to kick us off?
100%. So everybody, welcome to the pre-recorded episode of We Built a Bridge. We are here for you, our listeners. We pre-record this episode so you can interact with us. After you've listened to this recording, share your feedback in the comments, either here on YouTube or on any of our LinkedIn posts about this pre-recorded show, and we will discuss them during our next live show, which will be next Thursday. We Built a Bridge was founded with the core interest of creating a funnel of conversation many hesitate to engage in. Christine is a purpose and transformation coach for women, and my wonderful, esteemed colleague, Colleen, is a culture consultant to small businesses. United, we offer different perspectives on communication, culture, and life fulfillment to guide you towards a life with integrity and curiosity.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
All right.
you.
So what are we here to talk about this week? So at the end of the day, you may not have gotten this out of the quick description of Christine's title, description of who she is, what she does, or out of mine. So I don't want to assume that you're familiar with us. So at the end of the day, Christine and I, the work that we do, although different, revolves around change, some form of change. So again, Christine, transformation coach for women, myself, culture leader and consultant to small businesses. What's unfortunate, however, in the work that we do is that although personal and professional change can result in positive outcomes, what I think both of us see maybe more often than not is the ostrich effect taking shape. So in other words, rather than leaning into the change, we put our head in the sand and do nothing. So as a result of that, to set us up for this question, Christine, when there's a known problem and change is necessary, why do you think most people find it more convenient to leave the room instead of staying and working through it?
Colleen, I can't tell you how many conversations I've had where all the parties that this conversation is engaged with, right? So it could be a single person or a group of people, that we all agree that communication is the number one barrier to just about everything, right? You're talking about your marriages, parenting, the hiring process at your organization, client retention, employee productivity, right? So it's not about the stems that have grown under the communication umbrella, such as, let's talk about them, support, good listening, or empathy, for example. It's the root of origin, communication, that must be recognized. So with everyone agreeing about communication, needing, honestly, like an elongated stay at the hospital and a lot of care, why aren't we taking the steps to improve what we can from our end? I mean, that's the question today. And I will admit to being at some point in the group of the speaker uppers, right? Like, yeah, it's a problem. And then a runner and hider. That was me several years ago. It was me because work was really challenging and my relationships were challenging. And although I would speak up about my struggles, I wasn't in the position to change it. So it made me feel powerless. And when you feel powerless, you do nothing. And so when I found my personal strength and worthiness, I learned that every single vocal cord of my voice mattered. I learned there truly is strength in numbers, and how running and hiding accomplished nothing but defeat for myself, right? So individually, we have reasons why we speak up and we go, yes, we need to work on communication. And then we also have reasons why we stop there. And as you talked about, as an ostrich, we leave the room. So I don't want anyone to feel powerless anymore. I want everyone to know they can make a change by beginning with themselves, because That's where it all starts. It isn't anybody else's decision for why you have your head in the sand, why we have our head in the sand, or why we're leaving the room. And we can't control other people, whether they're our bosses, teammates, spouses, parents, or children. Hoping to change anyone is an unachievable fantasy. So, if anyone wants to have better communication, start communicating better by learning how to communicate better. And that means staying in the room.
Mm.
Colleen, this is why you and I designed the Build Bridges Communication and Connectability Program. We have heard, experienced, and talked about the issue, and we've watched people leave the room. We've watched them cheerlead and then leave the room. So we're inviting folks back into the room. The program is designed for small businesses and individuals because, let's be real, it's too damn difficult, if not impossible, to inflict this level of change on larger institutions. It very well may be one of the reasons some of the people are leaving the room. So the fact of the matter, communication change is absolutely possible. If I felt comfortable taking the leap, anyone can. So we have to address, though, that we are still back at the start line of folks speaking up, raising their hand, and then running out of the room. So the issue isn't as much about communication, in my mind, as it is our hesitance or negligence to do something about it. I'm ending on a heavy note.
Well, you've teed me up for, of course, I'm going to respond directly about the workplace. I mean, you said a couple of really important things. One of which was based on your position in the workplace, you didn't feel that your voice had a place or could impact change, right?
Yep.
So although 100%, I mean, so much of this comes down to communication, as we have talked about over and over. But again, where my mind went when I was answering this question for myself in preparation for today, when we think about change in the workplace, the owner, which is why I'm all about small business, because I do believe they hold the key to the castle in regards to seeing change through. But that owner, and let me just say this, even if you are a big business, the C-suite, whoever has that C title, have got to be behind it, period. And that is not Colleen saying that this is a great idea. That is years and years and years of research that tells us that. I think the other reason, and Christine, this is also from an individual standpoint, but I'm going to keep it to the workplace, even though, again, I think it's agnostic. There's risk, right? And most people, if they're going to take that step forward, feel that they want to understand what's the guarantee that it's going to work. If we remove ourselves from that, we know that there isn't a guarantee on anything, nothing. The only guarantee is change, right?
Yep.
Right? And so, again, in keeping it with the workplace, if they aren't willing because they're not sure about the guarantee that it's going to work, then that takes me to the second risk that's often there, is that, okay, well, if we make this change, am I going to lose people? Are they going to walk out the door? Now I have a loss from a turnover standpoint, which is expensive, and then also a productivity standpoint because I'm losing money as I'm trying to replace, so production is slow, things along that nature. And then this next thing, because this plays a big role in the loss from turnover and will people leave and all that good stuff, is oftentimes we hear, well, we've tried it before and it didn't work, which is often the result. And this is what plays into that turnover piece. That's often the result of not having the right leader. And not leader as in the C-suite, not leader as in the business owner, leader as in someone who knows how to lead change, how to understand what's going to have the greatest return based on the evidence out there that we can lean on, what challenges are going to be faced and how to overcome and navigate them. And then what metrics do we need to collect in order to tie back to things like business performances and business indicators? Mm-hmm. So for me, again, when I think about why is it easier to be the ostrich right? To walk away, to do nothing. I feel like it's because we need this guarantee that it's just not possible. So that's how I would answer the question.
Well, when you said that first, guarantee, and you said that before you responded with, there are no guarantees, that hit like a rock in my stomach,
Mm,
because that 100% is the catalyst as to why nobody wants to stay in the room, why people don't want to bring things up, why they don't want to turn left instead of turn right, change any kind of routine. Because what's going to happen if I do that? Well, you already know. Here's the thing, whether we're talking about change, learning more about communication, anything improvement, right? Because everything we're talking about here equals improvement.
mhm.
The guarantee is that if nobody does anything different, it's going to stay the same. So, how does the same look for you the rest of your life, right? Or
Mm,
the rest of your time at this company? If you are a
mhm.
business owner or a C-level, and you see what's happening right now, but you think, oh, it's going to take us 2 years to really get this change going. Okay. How does it feel to look at the company the way it is now, whatever it might be? This is going to be my company for the rest of its natural born life. Is that okay? Because we
Yeah.
don't think about that. We just want things fixed immediately. We
Yes.
want to say, okay, the team is not communicating well. Let's just start saying this instead. Well,
Yes.
that's a surface, that's a band-aid. It doesn't change anything. It's not the root. And so, anyway, when you said that, it just inspired so many thoughts in me, not only as a coach, but just in having to face change in the face and say, I am better off not knowing how this is going to finish than going in the direction I'm already going.
Yeah. And it's hard. Change
Yeah.
is hard. It is hard. I mean, that was my post yesterday. What, like it's hard from Legally Blonde? One of my favorite lines in that entire movie. Yeah, it actually is really hard.
But we
But
but we also don't credit. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but we
no,
don't
do
give
it.
credit. We don't give credit to how hard it is right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, you want to close this out? I mean, we could talk on this topic literally a lot. I had a lot of things as you were speaking to, but I'm like, no, we promise we keep these short.
That's right. That's right. And because I can't wait to hear what our listeners respond with, because I know everybody has a thought about this. I mean, honestly, listeners, if you have a thought but you don't want to share it on the comment line, DM us. If you don't want us to say your name, let us know. At least we can share your comment. We don't have to attach it to a name, but this is so important. There is a shift right now happening, and continuing to show up for what you know to be important. That's what we believe in. That's what we're here for. So let me go ahead and wrap up. So thank you, everybody, for listening to today's pre-recorded show. We hope we invited self-reflection on your end. And if so, we invite you to share with us in the comments, or again, you can DM us. We go live next Thursday, May 30th, on both YouTube and LinkedIn from 12 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the topic and question. Here we go. When there's a known problem and change is necessary, why do you think most people find it more convenient to leave the room versus stay and work through it?
It's a good
Yeah.
one.
The more we talk about it, the more I feel. So let's make this a great one, everybody. Let's do it.
It was so good to see you today and good to see everyone that listened to us.
Yes, thank you all so much. Keep tuning in. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.